We are back, and today I am going to demonstrate the ultimate turtle brownie. Now, for class, this is going to be your practical exam for the measuring unit. Alright, so you're going to need to make this only by seeing the demo. Alright, and again, you're going to be graded on how well you measure, and if you don't measure correctly, then what happens is your brownies don't turn out. Now, this brownie recipe calls for making homemade caramel. So in order to do that, that's a candy, we need a candy thermometer. Now this caramel recipe is a shortcut method, so it's a lot easier when we get to the candy unit. You will make true homemade caramel from scratch. Alright? So in order to make caramel, we need a candy thermometer, which I have right here, and which you will learn again later as a review. You need to calibrate the thermometer to make sure it reads correctly. It should read 212 for boiling water, but sometimes they're off by a couple of degrees, and then we need to adjust our recipe. So here, if you look, I have water at a full boil, and I am going to put my thermometer in there. And again, you want it in the middle of the water, not touching the bottom, nor do you want it at the very top. Okay? All right. If you want to zoom in here, right now we are at 207, okay, and it's continuing to climb. And when it stops changing, and you got to give it about 10 seconds to stop changing, then you know you've hit the correct temperature. Okay, I would say that this thermometer is done, and it is reading 212 degrees for boiling water. So that's lucky for us, because we don't need to do any recipe adjustments. Okay, we're back, and we have let the steam calm down so that you can see me again. One quick note, when you're calibrating your thermometer in boiling water, it amazes me how many students will fill a pan with water, turn it on one with no lid, and be surprised why their water is not boiling in 20 minutes. The nice thing about water is it doesn't burn. It won't burn, unless of course you let the pan boil dry, which would damage your pan. So if you need to boil water, put some water in your pan, cover it with a lid, and again, you can put it on high, and it will be boiling in no time. Okay, so we are done with this, and I'm going to move this out of our way since we will need the induction burner for this recipe. Okay, to make the caramel, the first thing you're going to do is you have heavy cream in here, and we've pre-measured everything here, and we are going to combine it with our salt. Now in this recipe, salt is going to just slightly help break the sweetness, and it is also going to enhance the vanilla and caramel flavor. Okay. Then our next step is to combine the water, which is here, and our corn syrup. Corn syrup is another type of sugar, and it comes from corn, and it is very, very thick. Corn syrup is used in lots and lots of candies. And it's used in a lot of food. If you read the labels, you'll see, fructose syrup or corn syrup on the label, even most breakfast cereals. Okay. All right. All right, I am going to go get a medium-sized saucepan, and we opted for a larger saucepan. What you're going to do is you're going to take your sugar, and you're going to pour it in the center of the pan. All right? So your goal is to keep a little pile right in the center. You do not want sugar to get on the sides of the pan, because those will cause your caramel to crystallize, and it'll end up being more like rock candy. All right, so you pour your mixture of of corn syrup and water here, and then you very gently stir to dissolve. Well, it will not completely dissolve all of this sugar. This is going to be super saturated, if you remember that term from your chemistry class. We are going to force that water to take more sugar than it normally would hold. So it will not completely dissolve this sugar at room temperature. The way we're going to force that is by adding heat. And by adding heat, we can force that water to dissolve more sugar than it naturally would. So again, that's bringing some science into our candy making. Okay. Now we are going to put this on medium heat, and we are going to cook it without stirring, which goes against what we think is logical. In our heads, we feel like we need to always be stirring but for this we do not. I am going to put it on the number 8. 10 is a true medium on the induction burners, but sometimes these run a little hot, so I'm going to keep that at 8. And it is going to take 3 to 5 minutes for this to dissolve, and that will be when it's completely clear. So we will be back in 3 to 5 minutes. It's been 3 to 5 minutes with our caramel mixture covered, and we needed to bring it to a boil. So we've done that. So now we can stir it. If you look at this, it's nice and clear. All of that sugar dissolved into the water. So this is a super saturated solution. So now our directions tell us to lower the heat to a medium-low and let this cook another 3 to 5 minutes. And this time we can occasionally come up here and stir. So I will stir this about every 45 seconds to a minute. And we will be back in 3 to 5 minutes to take a look. Okay, our sugar syrup, our caramel, has been sitting here for 3 to 5 minutes boiling, and we occasionally stirred it. And I will stir that one more time, and you can see the color is starting to become a nice amber. It's no longer that crystal clear color. All right, so now we need to continue letting this boil until the sugar has reached 360 degrees. Now this is a smaller pan, so we're going to tilt this a little bit to get a reading because we need a little bit of depth for the thermometer. And I just want to see at this point how close we are. And we are currently, well, it's still going up fast, so we're just going to leave it here. 253, 259, 260. All right, so we are all done. Oh, it's supposed to go to 360. Joke's on me. All right? So this is going to continue to cook. And boy, that thermometer is still going up. We are over 300. Now, sugar syrup is incredibly hot. If you think that boiling water is hot at 212, we are currently at 316. You need to be very, very careful not to get any of this on your skin. Be sure to never lick the spoon or anything like that because it will take the skin right off of your tongue, and it's just going to burn right through that first layer. Okay, so we are going to let this continue cooking. It stopped at 327, and we will come back and check on that. Okay, our caramel has reached 360, and you can take a look. It's a nice brown color. So what we are going to do is we're going to set that on our stainless steel work surface so that it's safe. And let me turn this thing off so we don't have to listen to it. Okay. All right, you are going to stir the cream and salt mixture into the center, and it will probably start bubbling because you are adding a milk to a temperature. Whoa, the steam is very hot, so be very careful. Okay, we're stirring that in, and then we're adding our vanilla. And we're adding our butter, which of course makes sure that there's no paper on it because you will never be able to dig that out of there. And stir that. And if you take a look, this is, oh, it's smelling marvelous, like caramel. And look at that nice, beautiful color. Okay. That butter, of course, will continue to melt. And so this is going to sit to the side now and start to cool down until you are ready to add it to your brownies. Okay? Now, in class, this, as you are seeing, is a complex recipe. You are going to do this as a table rather than groups of 2. So 2 people at your table will make the caramel, and the other 2 people will make the brownies, and then you will come together where the caramel will get mixed into the brownies before they get baked. Part of it will. All right?